All right, everyone. So here's part two of the statistical analysis with Dow Calipers. And for this portion of the lesson, we're going to talk about creating a histogram as well as a frequency chart to kind of visualize some of our data. Okay, so where we last left off, we have our data input, and we've done some functions to calculate some median, mode, so on and so forth. Next up, to visualize this, the first part we'll do is go Insert, come over here to Chart. All right, and when you click on this drop down, you'll see there's a bunch of options. The one we're going to choose is down here called Histogram. So click on Histogram, and important part, obviously, is selecting what data that you want. So the section that we want to do to start us off is the rectangle area measurements. So I'll click and drag over that, hit OK, and you already see a lot of our data populated. Okay, so we see on the vertical axis here, that is your frequency. So I'm going to go ahead and start customizing this under chart and axis title. Vertical axis title, I'll start off with frequency. So that adds that to the vertical. Horizontal axis, this was the rectangle area. This was in inches squared. And then the last part was adding a title to the chart. And we'll just go ahead and call this what it is, rectangle area histogram. There's definitely more you can do. You can bold things, you can make it look nice with legends or different changes to the axes. The one other thing I would recommend you checking out is under the histogram option. There's something called bucket size. So that's essentially what range do you want to start keeping track of. This is set to auto right now, which is between 3.5 and 4.4, 4.4 to 5.3. So it looks like the buckets right now are 0.9 in size. And there's a few options here with Google Sheets. So for example, if I change it to 1, now each one of my buckets are 3.5 to 4.5, so each bucket is 1. All right, so there's kind of a quick way of getting histograms, a nice visualizing tool. All right, the other part is creating a frequency chart. So to do that, we're going to come here to Insert, and we're going to insert a pivot table. All right, so for the range, again, make sure I just double check here. This is the range I want. And this time I want the entire column that says rectangle. I'll hit OK. And let's go ahead and insert it to the existing sheet. And I'm going to go ahead and just put it right next to our histogram. So you can choose a cell, and it'll start the pivot table or the frequency chart right there. Hit Create. All right, now for rows, I want to choose rectangle. Right, so that's going to keep track of all the unique measurements that we had as a class. And the one frequency-wise, that's essentially counting each time or how frequently a given measurement was taken. So if I come over here to values, I go to add, and I say rectangle. All right, it default to sum, so that would be adding up all the times that particular measurement was made. The one we'll go to is count A. So if you count A, now each time that measurement was taken, you'll see that number shows up. So in this case, for example, the measurement of 6 inches was taken 5 times in this class. All right, so that's kind of a quick and easy way to get frequency. And at that point, you can exit out of that, and then we can kind of make this table your own. Okay, so right now we have the rectangle measurements. Instead of here, we can change this to say the frequency, for example. And then sometimes I like to just double check that we got all of the measurements. I'll sum all those frequencies to see the total. And we got 20 total counts, so there's 20 measurements, so things are looking good. All right, hopefully that helps. So there's your brief histogram and frequency table tutorial.